La Katrina. It's been a long day, you think to yourself, walking down the ever-darkening street as dusk approaches. Sky dark enough to send shadow over the sidewalk and road, but not yet dark enough for the street lamps to kick on. It was the optimal time to let those neon signs shine into the street. There was not yet any ahead on the street you are on now, but they are there in your mind. Red lights curving into the words, open all night, next to a brown neon bottle of beer or a shot of Jack. You are new in town, so you have no set place in mind, but that was no problem. A journey is all the better without a destination to be aimed for, and since you are new here, you can rationalize this leisurely stroll as just an excuse to become acquainted with your new surroundings. Finally, though, to your delight, you come across those telltale neon signs. But in the shape of a man and woman, seemingly in the middle of dancing, though with one hand outstretched holding a glass, lights in the shape of raindrops blinking on and off above it to show the contents are splashing due to their reverie. It was a club. You were okay with a club. If there was music and dancing patrons, the bartender was probably less likely to try and chat with you as you drank. Not that you wanted to be left alone, it just seemed like a lively atmosphere would be a nice change. It seemed to be open, so you grip the cool handle of the door, push it open, and enter. On the inside was a DJ in the very back of the room, turning dials as electronic dance music erupted from the speakers. The floor was crowded with men and women bouncing to the beat of the music. On the opposite wall was the bar, conveniently located as far away from the DJ as possible, giving dancers room to dance and drinkers room to drink. You made your way towards the bar, for tonight you planned on being a drinker. You sit on a stool and ask the bartender for a pint. You listen to the loud music being blared from behind and sip on your beer. You enjoy the cold beverage and the feeling of the cool, smooth glass upon your palm. Suddenly it seems as if the lights behind you light up increasingly more brightly. You spin around in your stool to look behind you. There are a new group of dancers there on the floor. You know for a fact they were not there when you entered the club. You would have immediately noticed them in their strikingly bright red dresses. Their dancing was far more energetic as well. You were entranced by them, their long brown hair billowing over their brightly colored red and yellow dresses that seemed to flow across the dance floor. Their legs seemed momentarily as the dress flowing over them shook and bounced as the women danced. Some of them turned, and you noticed for the first time the women's figures that the dresses cling to. Their faces were engulfed in shadow from the bright lights that hung from the ceiling behind them. They reached hands out to the men and women sitting around you at the bar, some gladly jumping from their seats immediately to join them in their dance. You found it an alluring sight, people running to join in the dance, their bodies gyrating to the rhythm as they were obscured within the flowing fabric of the women's red and yellow dresses. One of these beautiful women began to approach you directly, reaching out a hand in your direction. "Would you mind dancing with me?" You hesitate, looking to the side for a moment. You have no idea how to dance, but her offer was alluring. You begin to lift your arm, to reach out and take her hand in her offer to dance. But as you look back, you are horrified. Under her beautiful long hair is the face of a skull, the rest of her body covered in that dress. Her face was hidden in the shadow of the club's lights until now. I, I don't know how to dance. I'm sorry, but thank you for the offer," you awkwardly answer. "Everyone can do the dance we're doing, especially with me as your partner," her voice now sickly sweet with its seductive tone. "You can dance with me now, or dance with me later, but you will eventually dance with me. Everyone will." She then gazed at you silently, as if still waiting for you to take her in your arms and begin the dance. I I can't now. I'm sorry." You felt glued to your stool. If you could, you would have ran then and there. The woman shrugged her shoulders and sighed heavily in disappointment. She then raised her dress in something akin to a curtsy, spun away from you, and danced back into the crowd. You were left alone on your stool. You still couldn't seem to move a muscle as the scene before you became more and more hazy, until finally your vision went blank. You awake in a hospital bed. You slowly put together the details of what had happened that night from the news and hospital staff. The DJ's equipment had been plugged into old, faulty wiring, and the place was consumed by fire as a consequence, the flames taking many people's lives. You can't help but imagine what your fate could have been if you had accepted the invitation to dance that night. And you can't help but think forward to a day when you won't have the choice to decline the invitation.